everyone. So if you're watching this video right now, it's because the universe is calling you to do shadow work. So what is shadow work? If you're wondering, I actually made a video about it, so check out the link in the description. You can watch that before you watch this if you'd like, but basically that video I talked about what shadow work was in shadow season, and in this video I'm going to be talking about some techniques you can use during your shadow work and how to really know when it's time to do shadow work and all those things. So before I get into the techniques and everything, the question is, well, how do I know? What's a sign besides the fact that you clicked on this video that you need to be doing shadow work? So signs are if you find yourself running from situations. That's really how I knew that I needed to do some shadow work. I was being called and I was really running away from certain issues I had in the past that were coming up. So running from situations, from your problems, really having a hard time keeping relationships, being very triggered about things from your past, and just overall not really being happy. So deep down inside, we all have secrets, we all have things that we don't really like about ourselves that we may or may not be aware of. So like I explained in my last video, that is the shadow self, and that's okay because we are all made of light and shadow, so we need a balance. But a couple things that you can do to really work on your shadow side and really embrace it. First of all, the first step is acknowledging that you have a shadow side, that there is something you need to work on. You may not be ready to work on it, but you're aware there is something you need to work on yourself. So your, like I said, your emotional baggage, your trauma, your quote-unquote demons that you don't want to face. So the first step is acknowledging and admitting that there are things you need to work on. So congratulations, you already made the first step. And second, so these things aren't really going to go in particular order, but these are just some things you can do. I'm just giving you an example. I'm not an expert, I'm not a life coach or a spiritual coach, anything like that. I'm just a human being living in this 3D world, experiencing it the same as you. So these are some things that I've been doing and that I've been researching, so let me share that with you guys. So not all of these things are going to work for everyone. For example, what works for me may not work for you, but one thing you can really do is to write down your feelings. So I have this black notebook and I keep it by my bed with a pen. And what I've been doing is, some people like to write a diary like every day, so you can write every day how your day went, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, and kind of go into depth of why you didn't like how your day went or why you felt a certain type of way. For example, if you're sad, you can say, well, what about this situation really made you sad, and why? Really think why something made you sad or angry or happy or whatever the issue is. So you can write just talking about your day. Me personally, I have to write when it's in the moment. So I don't write unless I get triggered by something. I really like that technique, and it's been working for me very well, I will say. I just feel so much lighter after doing it. So let's just say I'm laying in bed and I'm watching a video or I'm listening to a song or something, and I get triggered. And by triggered, I mean something in my brain. It's like a little red flag, an alarm goes off, it's like, I don't like that. That makes me feel angry. That makes me feel sad. That reminds me of my past or whatever the situation is. So, I call that being triggered. So, when I get triggered in the moment, I immediately get out this notebook and I write down why I'm so triggered. And I don't write like I'm writing to someone. I write the way I would talk and the way I would say this out loud. So, for example, let's just say I heard a song that made me sad. I would say, I just heard this song playing on the radio. It really takes me back to this day, and it just reminds me of this, and I just can't help but cry, or whatever the reason is that I'm feeling. And I don't worry about punctuation or spelling or anything. It's so sloppy. I just keep writing and keep writing and keep writing. And as I write, I go deeper and deeper and deeper. And at the end of it, I'm just kind of like, wow, that felt really good to say, to really admit that to myself. So that's one technique you could do, is to really write in the moment, like after you're triggered. And if you don't have time to do it then, do it the next day or something. But it's best to do it when it's fresh, because you really just let everything out. And if you don't have a notebook, if you're at work or wherever you're at, you can jot it down in your notes in your phone. So you can write it down. You can record a voice note to yourself and just keep talking, and just saying, spew it all out. Because it's very therapeutic to just keep talking, keep rambling, keep going in circles if you have to with yourself, but just don't stop until you have said every single piece about it. So that's what I've been doing, and I've found it so helpful. I literally have teardrops on some of these papers because in the moment I was crying. So if you're going to be writing down your feelings, you can have a journal. If you're physically writing something down and you want to burn it afterwards, after you've said your piece, that's also a great technique. It's very therapeutic. Just seeing something burn, besides a house, besides nature, but seeing something burn and just crumble and just evaporate into the air, is something about it is very therapeutic. Even the crackling, very therapeutic. I personally am going to be keeping all of my notes until I feel like my work is done for the time being. And I say time being because there's always going to be work to be done. There's always going to be shadow work to be done, because life is changing constantly. So yeah, that's one thing you can do, is to burn after you've written down your piece. So writing is one technique. Like I said, also leaving a voice note, recording yourself. By me making this video, this is a form of shadow work for me, because I'm holding myself accountable that I'm going to work through my traumas, that I'm going to work and heal my own wounds. So that have been inflicted by others, as well as self-inflicted wounds that I've given myself emotionally. So you can do that, and that's really helping. It's really holding me accountable. And I can say, in a short amount of time since I made the other video, I genuinely feel lighter. I really started that day that I made that video. I started my shadow work. I'm not done. I'm not going to be done for a long time, but that's okay. I'm working on it. So that's one way, writing it, recording yourself. And one technique that I feel is so powerful, that it really got me. I cried so hard when I was doing this, but I'm a better person for it. And that is the mirror technique. I think they call it mirror work, if I'm not mistaken. And basically it's looking into a mirror and talking to yourself, as if you were talking to yourself as if you're two different people. So look at yourself and pretend that you're looking at another person, but really it's you. So you talk to yourself and you say, you know, I'm sorry for this, or this really makes us upset, or it really makes me upset when someone says this about us. So you're including you're including your reflection as if they're another person, but yet they're part of you. So that's why you can say us or we or you or me, whatever works for you. But you talk to yourself and you talk yourself through your triggers, and you say, this really hurts me when people from our past, come back and they remind me of why we, whatever. So you want to do that, and you can, like I said, you can talk about your triggers, you can talk about what you love about yourself, what you don't love about yourself. But I saw this video on YouTube about how to promote, I think, self-love and how to attract things. So you talk to yourself as if you're this other person, and you say, I love us. I love you enough for the both of us. Everything that has happened to us has happened to us for a reason, but I am strong enough for the both of us. And just thinking about that, I'm already getting emotional. That's so powerful. And looking at yourself and facing yourself is very hard. And when I did it, I remember I was in the restroom and I was talking to myself because I had just finished writing down in my notebook, and I got up to use the restroom and I was crying because I had written in my notebook. So I got up to use the restroom and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I was probably in the restroom for about 20 minutes just talking to myself about what I had just written down. And I basically gave myself a hug by talking to myself, and I gave myself a hug because I needed that, they needed that. And as I kept talking to my reflection, things started to pop up. Like all of a sudden, things started to really click for me. And I said, wait a minute, hold on. This is the reason why this thing didn't work out, why this person is like this with me, why this happened so long ago, why I can't move on from this. So by me just talking to myself in the mirror, all these things started coming out, and it just made sense. And I said, oh my gosh, this whole time, this situation was really this. And just by me talking about it, I pretty much solved that problem with myself. And I'm not saying that situation is going to be the same for you, but that can be a result of that. So sometimes just by looking at yourself and really facing it head on, it can be very, very therapeutic and very beneficial. And to be honest, the mirror one was the scariest one of all, because looking at yourself and facing yourself and loving the person that you see in the reflection is very hard. It's very hard. It's very hard to not be hard on yourself, to not judge yourself, to not feel guilty about the things that you've done. We're human beings, and that's just normal. So don't feel like you're the only one who has these problems, because I promise you you're not. So yeah, the mirror. This video isn't about me. This video is about shadow work. But yeah, so those are some of my experiences that I've had with it. Anything that you can express yourself with, you can't write, record yourself, look at yourself. You can draw things out. There's so many things you can do. So whatever way you can express yourself, I would say go for it, and just don't stop. Just keep going until you feel like you've said your piece about that situation, that issue, whatever. And If you want to do it every day, that's fine. Like I said, like keeping a diary or just checking in with yourself every day, that's also a really good idea. Me personally, I only like to do it in the moment because then I kind of solve it in the moment, if that makes sense. And that's just what works for me. I don't like to sit there and think about things from the past and to really go back, unless I really find it necessary. So I personally just do it in the moment when I get triggered, and I just feel so much better after I do it. And another thing that I wanted to talk about that I probably should have said in the beginning, but before you can do all of that, yes, doing all this is really good, but I would say probably the number one thing that I would focus on, outside of expressing yourself, is taking care of yourself internally, which is sleep, your diet, and exercise. Because what we put into our bodies is so important. And trust me, I love hot Cheetos, I love ice cream, I love all the good stuff. But I notice that when I don't take care of my body, I'm not taking care up here, and it's very hard to take care in here. So to be eating cleaner, less processed foods, cut back on the caffeine, because caffeine also attributes to anxiety, things like that. So before we can really get started, we have to give ourselves a chance and really be putting the best things into our body, because it takes two things. So 50% chemical, which is what's chemically going on in your body, and 50% environmental, so what's going on around you. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, there's so many cars going by right now. But anyway, so back to the chemically and filling yourself with good healthy food. Think of yourself as a car, a machine, a vehicle, if you will. So you have a gas tank, right? And if you've driven a car before, you know the feeling of when you fill up your gas tank, how good you are. You're like, I'm ready to go. I don't have to worry about running out of gas. I'm good for a while. And you also know that not all gas is the same. So you really want to put the best gas possible, the best grade of gas, fossil fuel, whatever, as possible. So think of yourself as that. Don't just put little $5 here to get by and just, I'm gonna stop here, stop there. You're going to waste more gas and waste more time and energy going to different stations. Just give yourself a chance to fill all the way up with quality fuel to get you through it. Because when you have a full tank of gas, you can take a trip, you can go places, you can go the distance, because you have enough fuel to get you there. So give yourself a chance. Same thing, think of it like a battery. When you're plugging in your phone, you get more charge when you let it go all the way to 100 than if you just keep plugging in. Give yourself like 10% here, unplugging it, doing things. Then you get the notification that it's like, oh, less than 20% battery left, and you have to plug it in. So give yourself a chance to really charge. Give yourself that chance, because you deserve it. You deserve to have the energy, the fuel, the stamina, the strength to get through things. So give yourself a chance, because you deserve it. So like I was saying, environmental, what do you surround yourself with? Are you surrounding yourself with people that bring you up, or that they bring you down, they weigh you down? Toxic people, sometimes we don't realize how toxic they are. And yes, that includes family members, that includes best friends that you've had forever, that includes coworkers, whoever. Make sure that you surround yourself with people who want to lift you up. It's so important, because trust me, it's very easy, I've been guilty of it, to just get caught up in it, and people just suck the life out of you. Those are called energy vampires, and I'm so thankful that I've cut some out of my life, and I feel better about it. I no longer surround myself with certain people just because every time that I see them or every time that I hear something, it's just very negative, and that really gets projected onto me, whether I'm aware of it in the moment or not. You start to feel heavy. There's just a heaviness over you, just a negativity, and it's just not good for you, for your aura, for anyone really. So chemically, internally, and externally, I would really try to do those two things first, to really give yourself a chance to really deeply, truly heal and to bring the shadow into the light. So even after everything that I've said, I want you guys to know that your shadow side, your dark side, whatever you want to call it, it's so beautiful. There's something very mysterious about the dark, and I find that so beautiful because it's unknown. It's unknown, it's unpredictable, and sometimes we need that in our life. So I'm sorry, I didn't really have a plan when making this video. I didn't write anything down, but I just wanted to share these things with you guys, and hopefully you guys will get started on that. So if you have any tips on how to do shadow work, like other outlets that you can use to really express yourselves, please let me know. I'm curious. And I'm gonna leave with this. There's a song by, I think it's called Rude Boy. I think Rude Boy, featuring Beyonce. It's called Runnin', and that is exactly how I felt, and I just feel it's so appropriate for this. So I'm gonna link it down below, but take a listen to that song, and if you resonate with that song, it's a sign. So yeah, guys, thank you so much. I'm hoping I didn't confuse any of you. This really wasn't about me, but it kind of is. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you